All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order. There is a quorum present. We are missing right now Christine DeStasio and Greg Carabine that had notified me that they were going to be absent, and we are. And right now Cindy Beauregard is not here from what I can see, and the rest of us are here. So we have several people that are ill, and that's keeping the attendance down. I'll note for the record that the meeting is being recorded. It'll probably be posted to YouTube at a later date, in a day or two. You know, not that we get a lot of views or anything, but it'll be there. And all votes will be taken by a roll call. So the first order of business is approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. So you should have received, the voting members should have received the minutes from November 21st.
Mark Kulos, make a motion to accept the minutes of November 21st.
Again, and thank you for stating your name just for so we make sure when we do that, if we could. Is there a second?
I'll second. Stacy Gould.
Thank you. Any additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes?
I made some minor comments that I submitted. Peter Goff here.
Okay. So have you incorporated those, or yeah?
Not yet. They were very.
They will be. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Then we'll vote to the votes to approve the minutes as corrected. Joe DeLucia.
Yes.
Bill Hull.
Yes.
Bill Hull.
Yes.
Start Greg Blassie.
Yes.
Stacy Gould.
Yes.
Mark
Yes.
Kulos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sheila Hayes.
Yes.
And Cindy Beauregard just
Yes.
came in. So
Yes.
I think you missed Peter.
did I miss Peter? Okay, Peter.
Yes and yes.
Thank you. And this is on the minutes, Cindy, that's all. So we're 9-0 on the minutes. Next, anyone here to make public comment regarding issues before the building committee? Yes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Fritzl. I'm president of the Connecticut chapter of the Association of Builders and Contractors. I've emailed with Mr.
Yep.
Benedetto, Mr. DeLucia, the
Betancourt.
mayor's office. I'm sorry?
Betancourt.
Sorry, Betancourt. So our association, my association, is made up of merit shop contractors here in Connecticut that do commercial industrial construction. I was also hoping to have an opportunity to be invited to present our position on project labor agreements in front of the school building committee. I've been told perhaps next month.
Yep, that's the game plan, I think. Right now.
I'm just here to listen and obviously, you know, again, express my desire to event for the school building. So thank you very much for your time and thank you. I look forward to talking to you all next month.
Okay, any other public comment? Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on. So presentation from Dave Jarvis and others from the building trades, I think. Who we got coming up first here?
Keith Brothers, president.
Oh,
of
Keith, okay, that's
Connecticut
right.
State Building Trades.
Do you have a flash drive or something? Did you have a
Yeah,
presentation?
so
you were making?
I'm just gonna kind of kick everything off and then I'm
Okay.
gonna bring the team up to they're gonna do a couple of different presentations. So
All right.
quickly, we're here tonight to
Want
talk
to adjust
about,
the camera more?
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Hang on.
we're here this evening, again, thank you for the time and happy holidays to everybody. Mark and I go back a long way with,
Unfortunately,
construction projects
Yeah.
in Norwich. So, I'm here tonight, Keith Brothers, again, president of the Connecticut State Building Trades. I represent 30,000 union construction workers across the state of Connecticut. We're going to talk about project labor agreements. My team's going to come up and do a couple different presentations for you. But just a quick brief history of project labor agreements. They've been done since back in the day of the Hoover Dam. The Hoover Dam was built under PLA. We have many relationships across the state of Connecticut and New England. Some of the new projects coming out across New England, the new Bill Stadium, the graving dock project, the electric boat, the shipyard assembly building was done under PLA. We've got a number of DOT PLAs through the state of Connecticut. City of New London, down Fairfield County, lots and lots of PLAs done across the state of Connecticut. PLA is a pre-hire agreement between an owner of a project, in this case, the City of Norwich, and the New London Norwich Building Trades Council. It sets goals for hiring, it sets goals for apprentices, for local hirings. It sets standards for wages and benefits, making sure that prevailing wages are followed on every hour worked on the project. And another thing it does is it really creates an opportunity for the city and the building trades to bring in new members across the city's areas and through the zip code. So we're talking about veterans that possibly come to the apprenticeship programs. We're going to talk about that through our Building Trades Training Institute with Yolanda Rivera, who's our director. But it's very, very rewarding. We've just done 3 projects in New London where we hit the goal of 30% hiring goals across the city. So not only have we created opportunities for those projects for those young men and women, but those young men and women are moving now to other projects across Eastern Connecticut. So it's a career. It's not just a job where they go for 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. They get a health coverage for a year or 2. This is something they're going to do for 25, 30 years. It's a career. So those are some of the highlights of what we do in the building trade. The other thing I want to mention is we've done building trades PLAs in the billions. We've done building trades PLAs. I just negotiated one in the City of New London for $5 million. I think the biggest thing that we do in the building trades is we partner with the community. It's something where the money you're spending is probably the most amount of money you've ever spent in the city for doing a construction project. This is a 4-year project, $300+ million. So we're not looking to come in, put 1 foot in the door and then leave. We're here for the duration of the project. If in fact you use the PLA, we're here to work with the community, not only the leaders here, but all the leaders throughout the city, and to get things done and done right. And that's what a PLA does. It's a partnership. So if it's 300 million, if it's 200 million, the money doesn't matter to us what you're spending. What matters is that commitment to what we say we can do. We deliver those commitments. We engage the community. Not only everybody in this room is leaders, but we create leaders also throughout the community through the building trades. It's something that we're proud of. So with that, I'll bring up Joe Toner. He's my executive director. Joe, you want to go that way? Or?
So, Mark, Sharon, we have to plug in here, so can we try to plug in for our presentation?
You got a flash drive or something, or what do you got going on? No?
I can email
Yeah.
the presentation to you.
Yeah, that'd probably be the easiest, yeah.
Mr. Benford tonight with the Wi-Fi password.
I don't have it. Yeah, unfortunately, anybody got the Wi-Fi?
No,
password?
I
Because I'm set
I
up.
brought hard copies.
I'm set up for it. Yeah, so that's, yeah,
I can do it.
yeah, send it to, yeah. Let me do this.
That works great. Chairman.
Thank you.
Okay, what do you need? Are you working on that or do you want to?
Working on it.
To get in?
Oh, no, that's not- okay, that's okay, that's okay. I'm gonna forward this email to you.
Send it by city, M. Bettencourt, if you can spell Bettencourt, the 3 words, Bet-10-Court. So,
EETTEN.
C-O-U-R-T. M-O-U-S-E, yeah. And then, at cityofnorwich.org. Can you think I can read that? When I said, you know. That's like good, that's good. So, yeah, when I said to Keith is too long, I was talking about my age, nothing derogatory.
Dark hair, we first met.
Yeah, I know,
You look good though.
true that, thank you. Like a fine wine, that's what I tell people.
Tell me if It is a big attachment.
How big? As long as it's not over 25 meg, you know, I think you should know the deal with the emails. That's usually the standard limitation.
Well, it's not showing that it's gone through in my,
Might take a minute.
yeah.
Yeah, too many email addresses. That's the stuff. Thanks.
Two different elements. But in the meantime,
There's usually a lag because they're going to scan the damn attachment and stuff.
I only have one bar. Here, I
Yeah.
nothing to do with it.
Different presentation. from Jim.
Yeah, I got, give it a second. There it is. Delay presentation. Put it on my desktop. What's the Norwich MOU?
I got it here in paper, so.
No, I was just gonna save it. I was gonna
You wanna
put it
save
up,
it?
yeah.
It's probably a sample.
It's just a sample. of what you-
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's all right.
It's a sample.
That's all right. Not a problem. All right, let me bring this up.
Here we are. Hey,
And let's switch back. Is anyone else?
technology works.
Sometimes. You got a good enough internet connection. All right, let's go.
Good?
Yeah.
Chairman Betancourt, members of the building committee, my name is Joseph Cohen. I'm the inspector of Connecticut Building Trades. I wish everybody, happy
Oh,
holidays.
hang on one second,
Mark,
Uh,
we can't
keep-
see it. We
You
can't
can't
see
see
it.
it? All right, hang on. Let me just do this. Yeah,
Sorry, Mr. Toner.
my fault. You see it now?
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Here we go.
Go ahead.
Once again, good evening, folks. I'm Joe Toner with the Building Trades, and with me, I have Kimberly Glassman, who's the director of the FFC, and also Yolanda Rivera, who is the director of the Connecticut State Building Trades Training Institute. So as we go through, they'll come up and they're going to add on to the presentation. So as President Brothers mentioned, the project labor agreement is a pre-hire agreement between a building committee, owner, municipality, and the building trades, specific wages, work conditions, and hiring goals for workers. Guarantees the owner and municipality a global pool of skilled and qualified workers on the project. It's the only way municipalities can ensure their residents will work on a project without investing major resources into an ordinance and monitoring system. And it's the only way municipalities can ensure their residents enter into a trade on these specific projects. Specific language on PLAs allows non-union workers the ability to perform work on the project when joining the union. So just in the opening, what I would say, it'll be an agreement between the city of Norwich, the Norwich and London Building Trades Council, and we'll enter into an agreement to do the school program under a project labor agreement. And then within those terms and conditions, we will make sure that workforce development, and Yolanda will speak to that in a few minutes, will be added to the project labor agreement. And also, I think just importantly is making sure that residents are gonna have an opportunity to work within their community. So we estimate, probably, I think if the total is about 395, is that what's for the school program?
385, right, is the
385.
bond issue. The first two schools, which is probably what we're talking about now, about 106, was it 100 and?
126.
126,
Yeah.
right,
So
126.
we anticipate roughly, you know, if the city does enter into a project labor agreement, we're gonna regenerate over $20 million in wages and benefits to local Norwich buildings with the 25% hiring goal. So that's incredible. So think about all the money that's gonna be bonded that obviously has to be paid back. I know the delegation did a great job in making sure the reimbursement was a little bit higher, right? So that's good here. But making sure that folks are gonna be able to work in their communities is very important. You know, in our business, traveling is part of the business. We accept that when we sign up to become tradespeople. But to have the opportunity, especially with a program probably going on 3, 4, 5 years, to work in your backyard, to say to your children that you helped build a project in town, that's second to none. And that money's all gonna come back. That's all, they're all prevailing wage jobs, they're all prevailing wages, they're good wages, benefits, and you know, health and pension benefits. So the next thing I like to talk about is, and Mark, I don't know if we could coordinate so these folks can
Sure.
see, I don't know if you don't mind. The next part is what the building trades.
You want page down?
offers.
You want me to, what do you want me to
Or if
do?
you go to the next one, I'm just trying to keep up with, so Joe and, or the folks that are on the, next. Yeah, they're right, the next is the apprenticeship program, yeah.
Yep.
So we have our own apprenticeship programs in the building trades. The duration of the apprenticeship programs are anywhere from 4 to 6 years. So collectively, in the Connecticut State Building Trades, we spend over $30 million of our own money training our own people. So when you become a member of an affiliated local union, you enter into the apprenticeship program.
Sorry.
All of the training is free. So there's no training fees. Typically, what an apprentice will do is apprentice will go to work during the day and go to school at night, or some trades, what they do is the apprentices work and then they'll take a week off and do a week of block training, they call it, where they're gonna do 40 hours of doing related instruction within their own local union. So hypothetically, we come into, you know, we grab a senior who graduates from NFA next year, they get enrolled to the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Union. Right up the bat, they would be enrolled, they would get on, we put them onto the job. At that point, they would work here in Norwich on one of the school programs, making, you know, prevailing wages, union wages from the start, and being trained by the UA at their facility for no cost. So once they come in, they become members, they're making money as they're working and being trained along the way. And as the progression goes through the apprenticeship program, so does their wages, and their wages go up. So at the end of 4 or 6 years, depending on the duration of the apprenticeship program, that person then becomes a journey person. And I think the beauty of the project labor agreements across the state of Connecticut is that when they start, the folks start here in Norwich, and no one ever will end up knowing where it's going to take them, right? I mean, we don't know where the jobs take us or where we start, but we know we'll start in Norwich for the residents, and once they leave, it's a career. They'll be making the same wages and benefits throughout their career. Every day, they're making a livable wage that's collectively bargained between the union and our partners. So the next few slides are our apprenticeship programs. So we have 13 affiliates in the building trades, and we're just trying to share some photos here of the different apprenticeship training programs that we have. One of the highlights that we have that separates us from our competitors, the merit open shop contractors, is our graduation rates through our apprenticeship programs. Our graduation rates are higher than the open shop, merit shop, ABC contractors by far. Matter of fact, quite honestly, we've been asking, we compile our graduation rates, and we've been asking the ABC for their graduation rates to no avail. So last year, some legislation was passed that anyone that has a certified apprenticeship program, graduation rates are gonna be shared with anyone that has a registered apprenticeship program, and that's important. It's important because when young folks are entering into an apprenticeship program, we want to make sure that they have an opportunity to become journey people within their craft. That's very important. You know, in the building trades, we make sure there's a progression for our folks that come into the trades, and we make sure that we provide every opportunity for them to graduate. Other difference between the building trades and the open shop contractors is when a person or a person joins a building trades union, they become part of the JATC. They work underneath the JATC. That's our Joint Apprentice Training Committees. Those committees are made up of both labor and management. And the beauty of those committees is any of our apprentices have the opportunity to work for as many signatory contractors as the union has. So I'll use the labor, for example. The labor in Connecticut has about 2,000 signatory contractors. So once an apprentice gets indentured into the laborers union, they go to work and the work runs out for one of the contractors. They go back to the union hall and they're still indentured into the JATC. So they're still in the system. They can go back to work for another signatory contractor. What happens in the non-union world, in the ABC world, is once that person gets terminated from employment from the contractor, that contractor holds their ticket to their apprenticeship program. So they sponsor that apprentice. So what happens is if an apprentice works for ABC Plumbing doesn't have any more work for whatever reason for that individual, they terminate the agreement. That individual is back on the street looking to continue a career. In some cases, somebody will pick them up and continue where they were and recognize the time that they put in with that company. In some cases, they won't. So what we're recognizing in the industry is, unfortunately, a lot of folks that aren't working under JATCs or within union apprenticeship programs, it's a yo-yo. They're going up and down and they're not getting through. And I think that's something that in the unionized side, that'll never happen, because once they come in, they have the opportunity to work for as many contractors as the local signatory list. So what I like to do at this time is I'd like to hand the presentation over to Kimberly Glassman with the FFC, and then she's going to go through a few slides.
So, good evening. I'm sorry that you're scraped between your neck. My name is Kimberly Glassman. I'm the director of the Foundation for Fair Contracting of Connecticut.
If you want to do it, you could do it from here. And
Sure,
stand-
whatever.
I can see her on the
Yeah,
screen.
okay, you can see her on the screen. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
As Joe called the FFC of Connecticut, we've been here in Connecticut for 30 years. We are a labor management organization, so I'm here representing both the affiliates of the Connecticut State Building Trades Council, but also numerous subcontractor associations throughout the state that very much support the use of project labor agreements. So I very much appreciate you giving me just a few moments of your time. Joe passed out with the copy of the presentation, also a press release that was issued by the White House just yesterday. And that press release is regarding the final rule on President Biden's executive order, which requires PLAs to be executed on large-scale federal construction projects. And what President Biden said at the time that he signed this executive order was that it's going to help ensure that we build a better America. We build it right, we build it on time, and we build it cheaper than it would have otherwise been. I think that quote is very telling, and I just wanted to share it with you. So also what's been passed out this evening is a paper issued by the Beacon Hill Institute. And if you could just go to the slide, Mr. Benford, about the Beacon Hill Institute, it would be very helpful.
Here we go.
The Beacon Hill Institute is not an academic institution. In fact, Suffolk University cut ties with the Beacon Hill Institute in 2015 because they changed their fundraising rules, and that meant that because the Beacon Hill Institute was taking funding from organizations like the Koch brothers and other ALEC associated organizations that they could no longer operate and receive money from Suffolk University. They are a right-wing think tank. And this is not a academic report. So I just wanted to state that for the record. And I think that when Mr. Fritzl from the Associated Builders and Contractors, if he is invited to give a presentation there, and push the propaganda of the Beacon Hill Institute, I would ask that you ask who funded this paper, when he comes and speaks before you. I think that would be very good information for everybody on this body to know. And rather, I would like to talk about some academic studies. So if we can still add going to the next couple of slides. So Michigan State University did a report on.
Now, were these the ones that you were emailed? I think, did Joe, you sent them to me, I think? Joe DeLucia? Yeah, I think those
Yes.
are, yeah, right. Okay. All right. So I'll forward those to the committee this evening, just so
Great.
you know.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah.
Michigan State University and the University of Tennessee did a PLA study, and they found that there was no evidence that the presence of a PLA increases school construction costs. And then we have another study on the next slide from Cornell University, which again states that their research found that PLAs do not either limit the pool of bidders or drive up actual construction costs. And that they again reiterated, as has President Biden in his executive order, that these do not limit who can bid. Non-union companies can certainly bid to a project labor agreement, just like union companies can. And if you don't mind going to the next slide. In San Diego, they did a study, a report of how all the PLAs went in that in the San Diego Unified School District. And they found that there was no increase in cost to the winning bids for school construction. And further, they found that the projects were completed faster. And because they were completed faster, it saved some overhead for the district. And then my last slide that I'm going to speak about is Public Act 21154. This act means a lot to me. I worked very hard on it for many years. But this basically blows a big hole in this paper. And again, I'm not calling it a report, I'm not calling it a study, because that gives it a lot more credibility than it is worth. This privately funded, politically motivated paper that is in front of you, that you should not be taken seriously at all. It is a lie, because project labor agreements do not increase costs at all. And this law that we passed in 2021 and the Connecticut General Assembly says just that. The projects that are being funded by the city of Norwich are deemed covered under prevailing wage, the state's prevailing wage law. And now in Connecticut, since 2021, our state's prevailing wage rates are set by collective bargaining rates. And that's because when the federal government has done a prevailing wage survey in Connecticut, they have found that the union rates prevail. It's the union contractor base that does the most work. It's the union contractor base and the unions that set the rates in Connecticut. They say what the market rate is, and the federal government has said, you are correct. And so because of that, the state of Connecticut followed suit and said, these collectively bargained rates, this is the market. The building trades have set the market in Connecticut, and this is the law, and it is the law of the land. So for ABC or any disgruntled contractor to come before you, or special interest group to come before you and say, project labor agreements in Connecticut raise more money, show us the facts, the actual facts backed by academic reports, backed by science, backed by studies. The law is that these rates are collectively bargained rates, regardless of whether you use a project labor agreement or not. So with that, I would like to turn it over to our colleague and our dear friend, Yolanda Rivera from the Building Trades Training Institute. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good evening, and I would like also to thank you for the opportunity to come and basically present to you information on the Connecticut State Building Trades Training Institute. Before I became the director of this institute, I had the pleasure of working with the Unionized Building Trades for 21 years. Basically, when we began in 1999, we were looking to do the same thing that you guys are doing.
Are
today.
we,
Yes, if you continue, I'll.
Yeah, we're jumping ahead.
Yes.
We'll come back.
okay,
Yeah.
all
I
right.
apologize. There,
Okay.
I'm easily confused.
Yeah, the
no,
next
that's fine. I
one.
thought we,
Yeah.
Thank you for laughing.
Before I begin my, the presentation itself,
There you go.
basically, we were looking at putting in place, a project labor agreement. We really didn't know even what project labor agreement was. But we knew that we wanted to have community benefits, and the community benefits that we were looking, and I'm talking about Hartford and the Hartford, we were looking at, local hiring. We were looking at creating career pathways for, individuals that live in the city of Hartford who otherwise would not have the opportunity to enter careers in construction. So as a community organizer at the time, we were successful in putting together a 30% local hiring goal for the city of Hartford. And then we needed to put in place a system to make this happen. So out of this service delivery system that we worked on for probably 2 decades, we knew that it was time to make this happen and bring this model statewide. So in 2022, with the leadership of his brothers and members of the Building Trades Council, we created what we called the Connecticut State Building Trades Training Institute. So even though it's a new entity, the people that are working as part of the provisional services, we have been working in putting together apprenticeship training programs for individuals that are interested in preparing to enter career pathways through apprenticeship training programs to make this happen. So through BTTI, we provide opportunities for people of color, females, returning citizens, and when I mean returning citizens, it's individuals that are looking for second chances because of their criminal histories. And then also opportunity youth, and these are young people that are 18 to 24 that some reason are disconnected from the workforce. And then we act as a feeder to facilitate their enrollment and preparation and the process of them applying into a registered apprenticeship training program. So through BTTI, we were fortunate that we were funded by the State of Connecticut Office of Workforce Competitiveness, and we partner with the State of Connecticut Building Trades Council, right, and each local council. We also partner with the Joint Apprenticeship Training Directors of Connecticut. Joe mentioned in his presentation what we call the JAPCs. Directors from the Joint Apprenticeship Director Councils actually meet as one body, and they form the Joint Apprenticeship Training Directors of Connecticut. And then we also partner with the Construction Workforce Initiative because we serve the entire state of Connecticut. And this is also a similar program that has been in operations, I would say, probably also for as long as I have been conducting pre-apprenticeship training programs. And they serve the area of New Haven as well as the area in Fairfield County. The mission of BTTI is to recruit, train, and retain. When I first started, we really didn't know, and what we were doing is we just had a revolving door. So we want to make sure that the people that we recruit from these targeted municipalities or towns, that they know exactly what the construction industry is, and they know what is expected of them, and how they need to work within the structure of the programs that they enter. So even though the percentages that Joe presented, right, we're doing well, we really would like to continue to increase the retention rate of individuals within the apprenticeship training program and also their completion rate as well. The BTTI, the people that come to BTTI, they follow a certain process. They come in, we conduct orientations, we do assessments, we provide case management, we prepare them through skills building. And when we say skills building, it's both hard and soft skills. So we may do math refresher, we may do pre-employment workshops such as sexual harassment, basically communicating effectively, and everything that they need to do to prepare for the workforce. But then we also put them through a process of actual training. And the training that we provide may be 1 week at one of the training facilities that you saw before. And they are going to get their OSHA 10 and they're going to get additional credentials. They're going to be prepared with the math that they need in order to succeed into the apprenticeship training programs. Then they're going to go through a process of career exploration. So they're going to be visited by all the various apprenticeship directors. They're going to learn about the different occupations in the construction field, what it takes for them to prepare for each one of the trades, and the process of application. Then once they complete that, then my staff will facilitate their application to the apprenticeship training program, and that's how they actually get placed in their respective projects. They may be working within the communities that they are living, or they may be referred to any other construction project within the state of Connecticut for them to begin their career pathways. Once they're in, I have to tell you that one of the things where BTPI makes a difference is that we provide the necessary supportive services that they need in order for them to succeed. So when they go through training, they get a stipend. They also, once they got their place, they get financial assistance so that they can get their work gear, their tools, or monies that they're going to need in order for them to successfully assimilate to the work environment and the things that they're going to need, so that when they are enrolling into these apprenticeship training programs, they're fully given the necessary tools for them to succeed in their retention within their respective programs. Then we also partner them with individuals that are already in the trades that actually will serve as mentors. So this is the process that all the training is provided by instructors that are members of the various trades. And so they are trained in state-of-the-art facilities by qualified instructors. The placements that we have made are within all the various trades. So we have them in licensed trades, and we also have them in general trades. So, as you can see, they are representative of the 13 building trades that we actually represent. I highlighted for 2023, actually these 3 towns, because in this town, we have gone into the high schools, we have recruited and prepared seniors through the training program, and then we have facilitated their placements in Manchester for this year. We actually are looking at the numbers. We have 18 people. In Torrington, this is actually another town where we also have gone into the schools, and we have placed 18. And we actually work very closely with the chairman of the school building committee. And I have to tell you that on Thursday, we're going to be meeting with the school superintendent, and we're going to be talking about putting into the school a construction readiness training program that is going to help us continue to work with your seniors so that they can continue to apply into the registered apprenticeship training programs. One of the things that is also happening in Torrington is that the actual parents of these seniors, where they have the opportunity to go to colleges and pursue other careers, have opted to enter the trades as electricians, plumbers, sheet metal workers, laborers. I mean, they represent the wild array of building trades, and the parents themselves, actually I get communications from parents that are actually shared with the chair of the school building committee, basically thanking us for the opportunities that have been afforded to their children, and then also, encouraging us and telling us and actually helping facilitate conversations with places that we should go to continue to let them know about these great career pathways opportunities in the trades. And then, of course, Windham. And in Windham, we began to work with the schools. And in Windham, when I first started, we had a lot of young people that were very eager in entering the trades. But, in order for you to be a tradesperson, you need to have a valid driver's license and you need to have reliable transportation. And these are barriers or things that we need to help them with in order for them to be able to go to the next level. So through BPPI, we were actually able to begin to work with them, I would say, in January, to begin to give them the financial supportive services and the guidance that they needed, put in place everything that they need. In Wyndham, I was counting at the numbers today, and we have in Wyndham also 17 students, and right now, I've been working with 4 graduates from the last senior class that completed. And, you know, they have been working and putting together their driver's licenses from having a learner's permit to be able to get a license. They have been doing OSHA online. They have been doing everything. And hopefully these 4 will be the ones that will be lined up as the need for manpower arises. So these are I would say, the benefits of being able to do that with opportunities that are afforded, you know, in the towns and cities where they live, because they are still trying to put everything together that they need in order for them to be able to have and enter careers. In 2024, we also do training that is specific to certain populations. We know that women, right, need also, they're minorities when it comes to numbers at construction sites. So we're doing a program called the Connecticut Women Can Weld program in partnership with the Boilermakers. Even though the focus and emphasis is in welding, they will be doing career exploration and they will be able to apply to any trade of their choice. The state also has asked us to do a HVAC pilot program, which I am putting together in partnership with the plumbers, as well as the sheet metal workers. And this is going to be started in the, I would say, Hartford area. But then hopefully, if we're successful, we'll be able to also expand it to other areas of the state. And then most of all, I am very excited with what we're going to be doing in Naugatuck, because in Naugatuck, just like I'm doing in Torrington, we're going to be putting in place a training program for seniors, and we're going to be working with the high school students so that they can be prepared also to enter the trade. So very excited about all the wonderful things that we have planned for 2024. And I do all of this basically with a group of 4 people and an accountant. So we're very excited. And again, as someone that really has been working to prepare individuals and give them all the opportunities that they deserve, you would not be able to do this if it was not under a PLA, because the PLA has all of these community benefits. So I strongly urge you to consider a PLA here in Norwich.
Thank you. So, Chairman, if you don't mind just going back. For that, Norwalk, I think is where it's.
Did I miss?
Keep going back.
Do I want to go back?
One more.
Yeah. So Killingly is an example. We've been in Killingly. I think it's an example probably of typically when we enter a community, we continue to work in a community. So actually, President Brothers back some years ago, I can't see the date on that letter, 2010, we were successful at getting a project labor at Killingly High School. And within this data here, it shows you the hours that were worked for Killingly residents' local employment. I think this slide is important because Killingly has just recently let out 2 other jobs. They have the expansion at the community center and also Memorial School. And Killingly, due to the successes that we've had in the partnership we've had with them over the last 14 years, Killingly, all their municipal work that comes out is under a project labor agreement. So, which is good. So I think that shows the long-standing history. We're also, in one more slide going, we're in Norwalk currently. Before I start with Norwalk, we're in 19 communities across the state of Connecticut. So we go all the way from Norwalk to Torrington, Danbury, Torrington, out to Killingly. So, and anywhere in between. So, it's our program, which includes workforce development, is becoming more and more popular within the communities. I think folks are realizing that the college is probably not obtainable, and to have an opportunity to have a career in the building trades and become a journey person without any debt making a livable wage after, probably after the first year. I think many of our apprentices start at the low, at $20 an hour. And that's, that's 50% of journeyman's wages at the lowest. I'm an ironworker by trade. The ironworker started at 65% of journeyman's wages. So the ironworker's up in the high 20s as a first year apprentice. So, out of school into, and then when they start, you're also getting your benefits, your health benefits, your pension, and your annuity benefits. So, these opportunities are second to none. They truly are, and their careers. And so in Norwalk, just within here, I don't want to take up all your time tonight, but in Norwalk, we got a letter of support. We're currently in Norwalk. We did Cranberry School. That letter reflects Cranberry School. Subsequently, right now, out to bid in Norwalk is South Norwalk School, which is similar size to Cranberry, which is under a project labor agreement. And also Norwalk High School, which is north of $250 million, is also under a project labor agreement. Mayor Rilling, recognized and the building committee and the folks who recognize the opportunities for the residents, which is great. I think Wyndham kind of is similar community to Norwich, I would say. We've been in Wyndham for years. The letter here is from Randall Pro, who's a member of the council and also the building committee. We're up there in Yolanda talking about the great work that the BTPI is doing up there. President Brothers mentioned earlier about New London. New London has been good. We in the cities that are in the towns that we're currently in, the longer we're there, the more opportunity we have and the larger the base is. I'll give you a quick example of Hartford. In Hartford, we entered into a project labor agreement in the school construction program in Hartford. Hartford city ordinance needs 30% Hartford residents. It's a goal, it's an ordinance, and then that's incorporated in our project labor agreement. Since 2000, we created over 1,200 careers for Hartford residents. Every school in Hartford is over 30% in resident requirements and over 50% in minority participation. So these are long-standing, careers that we're producing. And back when Yolanda started, and she mentioned earlier when she was at the Hartford Jobs Funnel, we have second-generation folks coming in now in Hartford. When their parents came in, they enrolled with the Jobs Funnel. We took them into the building trades. Their children are now successfully enrolled in Hartford. So it's continuing on. You know what I mean? And it's providing great opportunities. Further down a little bit, we put in here as an example of the Maloney High School, and it will spell out a little bit further on man hours worked, wages and benefits, money that was regenerated within the community. It was a huge success. Both Maloney and Platt were done under project labor agreement in Meriden. The next one is the money that was left over from the school project in Meriden. Due to the under budget, the programs came in under budget. They were able to redo the track at Maloney High School. Lastly, I would say is another list of the towns and the cities that we're in. So, we appreciate the opportunity to talk to you tonight. I think, what's important for us, and we learned throughout the years, is the workforce development piece is important. And we focus on making sure the workforce development's in every PLA. We understand the 25% resident requirements is very important because the folks that have an opportunity to work on their projects, and that's been with us since day one. But I think having free workforce development with the BTTI is second to none. The BTTI comes in with no cost. The BTTI will be in your community. We will work with those. I know you don't have you have two high schools, probably Norwich Tech and NFA, which you share, right? We will identify folks in the high schools. And more importantly, what we did in Norwalk was we worked with all the community groups. We would get on Zooms once every 2 weeks. And we worked with 26 different community groups to help identify folks that needed an opportunity. And they send them to us. And the beauty of the BTTI is if someone's not up to speed, we're going to work with them and make sure we're going to bring them up to speed and help them. And I think one of the things that Yolanda was talking about up the window, we have a success story up there, and I'll stop up there. We had a young individual come up, and he wasn't, working at Dunkin' Donuts, really didn't know what to do, had a learner's permit, and just couldn't really wasn't at that point to get into the building trades. We have funds that we can help them with the learner's permit process to get their driver's license. It's important. We went through that process. We helped that individual get their driver's license. He applied to the IBEW in Hartford, and he's been working a bit at Wyndham Project for the last 2 years. So he graduated high school and he was stuck. He really was stuck because he couldn't really. He had to work locally. He didn't have the driver's license, and there wasn't much guidance at home. And I think when the VTTI came in, it completely changed his life. I mean, and to this point today, where I mean, he walks around now. You know, he's like the peacock at Wyndham High School. You know, and should be because he's proud of what he's done and having the opportunity to work up there. But listen, if you guys have any questions, please reach out to us. We do appreciate the time. At the end, there's an MOU there. I should have put sample on it, so I apologize. But that's an MOU. We like to keep the MOU on the workforce development separate from the project labor agreement. So if there's anything that the community feels that you would like to negotiate with us through the Building Trades Council, we keep it separate from the PLA. So the MOU is also included. But thank you, Chairman and members of the committee. We appreciate the time.
Thank you. It's very informative. Thank you. Some of this stuff was new for me.
I asked a couple of questions.
Oh, yeah. Taking questions?
Sure.
Sure. Go ahead, Mark.
All right, what is your goal for percentage of apprenticeship out of the total workforce? Does it vary on trade?
No. So I think the goal. I think the apprenticeship goal. I think it,
25% for you have in the MOA. You have 25.
no, the
No, the apprenticeship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I
Percentage of
think
apprentices.
Tommy, if there's a state 6 or 7, I think 7% is the percentage per contractor.
Of apprentices.
Of apprentices.
Yes,
Okay.
per contractor.
So as a percentage of the workforce.
Yes,
And say if you have met those goals, but say 50% dropout, do you have continuous rehiring to keep that 7% goal?
yes.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, that goal, if you guys feel that that's something that's important to you, that's a goal that can be incorporated into the PLA.
All right, and what's a typical timeline to go from how many years from apprentice to journeyman to master?
So the most typical is 4 years. We have 1 5 and 1 6.
To journeyman.
To
To
journey.
get to
The journey,
journeyman.
yeah, so it's 4 years. So 1 to 4 years is typically the project.
Okay, and then on the MOU itself, your goal is 25% Norwich residents, is that correct?
Correct. I mean, that's negotiable.
And then it said 30% New London County residents, is that additional or total?
Because Norwich is part of New London County.
Yeah,
That's correct, so is it 30% total from New London County or 30% additional?
no,
outside of
total, yeah.
Okay.
You know what we want, I guess the importance to that is the 25% Norwich resident.
Right, so then an additional 5% could be out of
Yeah,
Yes.
New London County or
other towns.
or more,
in-
depends
in-
how many there are.
Right. Okay,
So,
but that's a good faith effort, there's no guarantee naturally.
Correct.
Anything else? Any other questions for me? Stacy?
How do you guarantee local hires?
How?
Oh,
Well, right now, we know how many Norwich residents that we currently have in the building trades. So what we do is we take that number, we come into the community, we start recruiting folks, and as the jobs ramp up, we dispatch the folks, the residents onto the job site through the contract.
okay, how many NFA or Norwich Tech students are presently in your apprenticeship program?
I wouldn't have those numbers, those direct numbers. I have resident numbers. I don't have I have Norwich resident property.
But you don't have any student numbers in the apprenticeship program. Are there any students from Norwich Free Academy or Norwich Tech who are presently in the apprenticeship program?
If I can, Joe, there's one right behind you. Ryan, he lives here in town, and he's with the carpenters. So he's
he's coming here tonight to talk about how important it would be to be here in town. If you want to talk to him, he was just working on the Sherman Bridge. And now, he's kind of carrying on his training. He's traveled down to Stanford and some of the other projects, but also enjoys the benefit of working close to home and really looking forward to the opportunity of working here in town. And so one of the things, and I'll let him speak in a second if you want to talk to Mrs. Wolf. But we have been beginning to reach out to the NFA and the Norwich Tech. One of the things in the struggles without an agreement with any town is the funnel, right? So it's easy to bring people to work in town versus trying to bring someone to work from this side of the state to the other. So the partnership allows an opportunity for someone like Ryan and others to be able to live in town, stay in town, thrive in town, and be able to have a life outside of work rather than getting stuck on 95. One of the things that construction workers do is we get labeled as building buildings, but really what we create is wealth. We build wealth. We build the buildings that create. We build the schools that fund the future of the workforce. They train the next generation. We keep going forward. And the wealth that Norwich has is your citizens, is your people. And they're looking for an opportunity to further themselves. And so we're looking to partner with you to give them that opportunity. Recently was at NFA for their event, What's Next for Me? And was able to participate in a panel discussion where they put up the different job titles of the people that are on the board. Nutmeg was there, the carpenter was there, Downs was there. And they're just trying to guess what our job was based on different questions. And so there's been a real change in society as far as the individuals that we're interviewing now from tech schools, high schools, their parents are saddled to college debt. And they're feeling the pressure on their mortgage, they're feeling the pressure on their social life, they're feeling the pressure. And so they're saying, what other opportunities are there out there for our children to do it differently than what we did? And the careers that we're talking about tonight and the job opportunities that you're talking about tonight are second to none. The average construction worker at these rates that we're talking about is somewhere $75,000 to $120,000 a year. And that's coming out of high school 4 years later with no college debt, earning as you learn. And so it's a huge opportunity, and the floodgates are being opened by individuals like yourselves that say, this is important, we're going to spend the money, let's spend it local, let's give people here the opportunity and see what they can do with it. They're just looking for a chance, they're willing to work hard, great candidates here in town, and it's getting past contractors, it's getting past the final end note and saying, how can we change a life? How can we move them forward? And how really can you keep the citizens here in town? As I walk the streets, when you're doing the elections, and there's a lot of empty houses, but people, if they have this kind of opportunity, they can do anything, and they can get a mortgage, they can stay here, they can retire here. So I won't bore you with my story, but I was in Killingly, and it's one of the reasons I'm here. And so I'm very proud of every PLA that comes out of Killingly and out of the tech school system. So if you did want to talk to Ryan, he's more than willing. I prepped him a little bit, so. Do you have a specific question for him?
Well, when did you graduate from NFA?
I graduated in '06, ended up with the labor union for about 10 years, left that for a different career path, came back to the carpenters. I've gone through about 3 years of their apprenticeship program so far. And that's when I found out a lot of my other friends were like, yeah, that was probably the smartest. But I have a couple friends of mine who have also joined iron workers, female workers. A lot of us were non-union prior to that. Part of my tenure career was spent doing non-union wood framing, and that's part of what led me. Well,
So if I so quickly, if I could just say, so we're meeting with NFA. John,
He used to be, yeah. He's not there anymore.
Yeah, we're gonna start with him to coordinate this.
Oh,
But one
he's-
of the things that we have to do is, we have a relationship automatically to the building trades with the technical school, so that's easy identifying. We have that direct line. But NFA, once we come in, we're gonna start sitting down with the folks from the community in NFA and having the folks come in. I know Tony, Camalucci's here from the plumbers and pipe fitters, and Anthony, I think you have a young apprentice, right?
We have several, so we have probably in our, registered apprentice program right now, about half a dozen. And, normally every year we get about 300 applicants to our program, and we only accept between 40 and 50. If this project labor agreement goes through, what we'll do is I sit on the JTC, we will give the Norwich residents that come before us from Norwich Tech or NFA preferential treatment and, send them to our program so that they're ready to be dispatched to the job, need be. So, and we're gonna be interviewing probably this spring. And like I said, we have about 300 applications on file. And, they're Norwich Tech, NFA, yeah. So normally they come from the HVAC or the plumbing program from Norwich Tech, and they'll come to us, because we give them a year's credit towards their license when they graduate from the tech school. So, the young gentleman that, Joe's talking about, his name is Jaden Bodette, he came up through the Norwich school system. His mother worked in the Norwich school system, worked there his whole life. And, he's really looking forward to, hopefully working on this project. It'll be a career changing move for him to work so close to home in his community. So, and he's only one example. I'm sure there'll be several others as well.
And the other piece that we're missing is that when a contractor's low bidder on a project, through the project labor agreement, that contractor deals directly with the hiring hall and the business agent. So the business agent and the contractor, along with the CM, we really formulate that plan to get those local workers either from the out of work list in Norwich, or we take them from our apprenticeship pool and bring them onto the project. So the contractor knows that when he is the low bidder, the apparent low bidder is awarded the work, he has to live up to the terms of that project labor agreement. So he deals with the hiring halls.
Mark.
Yep. Anything else? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So you had
Bob's a purchasing agent, by the way.
I'm the procurement director. So you know. You had a PLA in New London?
Yeah.
You have a PLA in New London?
Yeah, a few.
What's the goal for your local hiring in New London?
It was 30%, we met the goal.
You met the goal?
Yep.
Okay.
And the CM's right here, he can verify that. So Downs was our CM and you went. Nice.
About the CHRO requirements that we.
So every state requirement is automatically incorporated into the project labor agreement. So whatever state statutes are, and like if you're putting a bid out or bidding a job, any state statutes are automatically incorporated into the agreement.
Anything else? Bill? Anything?
So is the agreement gonna be similar to Norwalk? Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Anything else? All right, that's it. Thank you very much. Oh, go ahead. You got something? Hang on,
Yeah.
online. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Joe.
Mark, this is Joe DeLucia. I just had one thing to add. Back to Stacy's question. One of the things that has been going on over the last 3 to 4 years, and for those of you who don't know, I'm a department head with the Connecticut tech schools. And one of the things that we've been working on with the change in leadership is building these relationships with BTTI. Yolanda's folks have been in my school, also with building relationships with Job Corps and with outside employers, even like EB, where they are now allowed to come in to the schools and talk to the seniors before they graduate and talk about the opportunities that are out there. So this is a relatively new phenomenon. I will tell you, this is how new it is. The Carpenters just signed their first apprentice out of my school that, prior to graduation in the history of the tech school system. So usually they had to wait for kids to graduate. And sometimes, in some cases, had to wait till they turned 18 before they could even talk to them. That's not the case anymore. So we are really on the cutting edge of this in terms of providing opportunities for the young people in Norwich. And the fact that Mr. Toner mentioned that they've already reached out to, I think I heard right, John Iovino, right, to build a relationship with NFA, because they have also been looking for a way to get their kids into the workforce, because not everybody's going to go to college, but everybody needs to earn a living wage. So those bridges are literally being built as we speak. And so this is very timely for us with the, with this project that we have going on. Thank you.
Anybody else? Hearing none, thank you, folks. Appreciate you coming down. It's very interesting.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, next order of business, CSG. I'm gonna behind schedule today, so let's, Mike,
Yeah. So we've got,
gotta ask you to keep your voices down, please, until you get out in the hallway there, and thank you. It's not a deposition. We talked about this before. You don't have to, summarize.
so we've been, conducting, well, DRA's team has been leading, weekly, the schedule's been impacted a little bit by the holidays, but, weekly design meetings with, Board of Ed administration. We've also started working with, the City of Norwich, Police Department to get a better idea as to the access to the Greenville site from Boswell Avenue. The, City of Norwich Police had a traffic counter and speed counter up at close proximity to where the proposed entrance off of Boswell would be, to get some preliminary traffic information for us prior to the traffic consultant coming in. And we've also I've been working with NPU with the information that I have to try and, really get a better understanding on the utility costs. One other thing that we're working on now is I basically have the RFP drafted for the architecture services, whether or not the committee elects to go with the same model that we used for Greenville and Stanton with the schematic design or conceptual design into schematic design with the same firm. That's how I have it drafted now. I sent off the budgets from the master plan off to our estimator just to benchmark the costs prior to getting much further into this, just to make sure that the costs are accurate. It was difficult to understand from the master plan how far the escalation was taken out on the Moriarty project, and given that the estimate was done in 2022, it's now 2023. The project wouldn't start until 26.
Groundbreaking now.
Yeah, I think it's valuable to re-benchmark the cost just prior to going to the state for a new grant application, at least the cost.
Yeah, I was, good.
we would have-
I'm glad you've been working
Yeah.
on this, because I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you about this,
Yeah,
so.
so the RFP, if the committee was to elect to go the same way that we went for Stanton and Greenville, as soon as I get the budget figures back from the estimator, and benchmark them against the master plan, I'll bring the numbers that they provide to us to the committee, and then we'll have to make a decision as to whether or not the numbers, if there's a variance, why the variance is. I'll also work with Greg at DRA to try and
I'm
get
gonna,
a better.
if I was a
understanding.
gambling man, I would say the Moriarty site is not gonna provide the logistical problems that the first two sites are gonna provide, so.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Greg is
Well,
over here saying, yeah.
Either one of the next two sites create
Yeah.
problems with these first.
Yeah, right.
So,
Well, Uncas will be a space issue.
This will be,
There'll be a space issue with
so
Uncas.
from the standpoint of all that, once I get the estimate benchmark back, I was gonna bring a copy to the committee tonight, but
Okay.
without the main number as to what the budget's gonna be, it's not really, I'm hoping if we can get a quick approval on that, maybe at the next building committee meeting in January, that would allow, or potentially sooner than that, that would allow us to get that advertised.
Well, as soon as you get anything in.
Yeah.
To send them up, we'll distribute it to the.
I mean, I can send you a draft tomorrow without the only thing that would be.
Yeah, why don't we just wait till we have the,
Okay.
I don't want to clog up everybody's
Okay.
inbox. Wait till we have the whole.
Yeah,
thing.
but basically the RFP is written the exact same way. I made slight adjustments to some costs as part of the architectural RFP for some overages that we've already experienced on the Greenville and Stanton site. And short of that, it's, all the addendum information, questions that were asked by the architecture firms has been incorporated as clarifications into the main RFP. So hopefully
Okay.
that helps with all of that.
You talked to Bob about this at all, or?
Yes.
Okay.
He sits right outside my.
Oh, that's right, too. I forgot.
You
he's
can
got
hear me
that.
talking to
I
Jim about it. You
forgot.
can practically hear me thinking about it.
That's right. I forgot about that. He's
Yeah.
down, yeah.
So,
Okay.
so that would be the phase two, the next Moriarty and Otis.
Well, Moriarty.
It would only be Moriarty. I could add Uncas to it.
We gotta, yeah, we're gonna have to talk about, because they're contracted for the first three. CSG is.
Okay.
And then, we're gonna have to start fairly quick talking about the rest of the project. So whether, as far as the whole RFPQ process, so. Bob, I think I'm just gonna talk to you about that offline.
Okay.
All right?
We're
So I'll
also
give you a
looking
call.
into the schedule for the next two projects to see if there's any value to you in going out for, potentially the same situation that we had for
Yeah.
Stanton and Greenville.
I was thinking I would almost rather knock out the next, well, I don't know. We'll see. I don't
Okay.
know. We're gonna talk.
Yeah.
We'll talk, because this, as, I don't know about some of the rest of the committee, but this RFQP stuff is getting old. I'd like to reduce the number of them if we can.
It'll be much easier for this one.
Well,
because
yeah.
You've already seen the
Right,
entire document.
right.
One thing too, that you gotta keep in mind. You got the first three, but we're following 7, 4.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's really the issue that we need to discuss in terms of logistics,
Right.
timing.
Well, that's gonna have to take up with, obviously, the Board of Ed and the superintendent, obviously. So that's gonna be, obviously, their
Maybe
decision.
meetings with the Board of Ed and the superintendent's office. and
Not gonna be easy.
No, because
But
it's,
It's gonna happen quick.
yeah, we will have
Yeah.
some play. Once the first schools go up, we're gonna have some play in the number of spaces we've got there.
Not till you build Moriarty. Right.
Well,
Once you build Moriarty.
once you build Greenville, that's 600 right there.
Right.
Then we'll have 200 over on Stanton.
Yeah, so
So that's 800. That will have more than what we're taking away.
there may be flexibility.
So, yeah,
potentially.
so that was part of the concept for me as far as building Greenville, one of the first schools, yeah.
Right, so we could move those kids.
Yeah, we can,
Into the
now,
school.
it will be a headache,
Oh.
obviously, because we're gonna try to have to accommodate certain things or whatever, so.
Mike and I can have discussions about how this whole thing would work.
Yeah. Well, that, like I said, that I'm gonna, leave in the capable hands of Susan and the rest of her crew.
And-
Right, so you can wave, Susan.
and The idea's been brought
There you
up at program meetings with.
Yeah. I know,
with Bob
yeah,
and,
I had heard that, yeah.
Susan.
because
I haven't
busing
been
is
able to get
is a
the-
huge problem too,
Right.
that we have to,
Right.
give as much notice as possible to parents and whatnot.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, all right, anything else, Mike? At this point?
Well, it'll be new. I can either do it now or through the new business. There's some additional costs that were presented for additional surveying effort that's required at Greenville and Stanton.
Don't doubt it.
Well, yeah, so.
Don't laugh, Greg.
So the,
Turn it down before, I think it went too cold.
Yeah,
Like an icebox.
yeah, the air was starting to come in from the hallway.
so there were some additional costs proposed for both Greenville and Stanton for CLA engineers to do some additional survey work.
Okay,
Their proposal originally didn't include the entire property at Greenville or the entire property at Stanton. So now, there's some additional on-site work needed.
how much are we talking?
Hold on. I think it was 7,800 for. Greg, do you have those numbers? Okay.
Did they submit an invoice?
They didn't send, there
Are
should
they,
be,
are they gonna run it through you or through you, or?
well,
We should come back.
they didn't submit a monthly invoice this month,
All right,
so.
well, I'd say if it's going through DRA, you can include it in yours, one of yours, and do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, but
It
it'll,
would be through DOR.
Yeah, we'll just, point that out when we do them.
Yeah, it'll be a nominal ad service. We would typically put it in or negotiate it with CFG.
Yeah.
There's a number, it's your prerogative whether you agree with it or not.
We're not talking about a backbreaker there,
I'll tell you the number in a second.
my opinion.
It was. $8,800 for Greenville and $7,200 for Stanton.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't sound,
And
Doesn't sound crazy.
Greenville had already run over the allowance, so now that'll be in excess of what it ran over the allowance.
okay.
16,000 additional.
For both, yeah.
We'll, deal with it as,
Okay.
when we invoice it.
Well,
Anything else?
What do you mean? DRA is looking for approval to move forward. with
Oh,
it.
you want approval to move
Well,
forward?
they're not billing for it, but they need approval to move forward with
Oh, okay.
the committee's approval for the cost.
All right, all right, so I'll entertain a motion. So we have a process anyway, how it's gonna work. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the expense. You know, and we'll approve the payment once it is actually invoiced, but could I have a motion to approve
Do you want
the,
that motion now?
Yeah.
Okay.
we'll take it now.
Okay, yeah, so I'll make the, Mark Kulis, I'll make the motion that we, allow, the DRA is going to do the billing.
Yeah, they're gonna take the amount not to exceed, I don't know, let's say 20 grand.
That will
So,
see $20,000 for additional,
Survey work.
surveying work at, both Greenville and Stanton schools.
That'll work. Could I get a second?
I'll second that, Stacy.
Thank you. Second by Stacy. Any discussion on the motion?
I just want everyone to know that there are fixed costs on them, so it's $8,800 for Greenville and $7,200.
Okay, yeah, that's just, that just
Just in case they
procedurally,
find,
I
an old cemetery.
If I call it
I don't know. I don't know. Don't stop saying stuff like that.
Yeah, please.
All right,
Yeah.
all in favor, Sheila Hayes,
Yes.
Mark Kulos,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
myself, yes, Peter,
Yes.
Bill Hull,
Yes.
Joe DeLucia.
Yes.
Let me see, did I miss anyone? I think I got everybody. Did I miss anyone?
No.
Here and none, 9-0. Stacy. Yeah. Stacy gets all seconds and motions to adjourn. So that's the rule. No.
So the only other update that I have, just to make everyone aware that the schedule for the schematic design effort has expanded a bit. We were originally anticipating to have it done by the end of December, but it's moved now to the end of January. In discussions with Jim and Greg, it's not going to have an impact on the delivery of final construction documents because the next phase will be a month shorter to allow for the extra month during this phase.
Okay. All that matters is when we get there.
Has anybody gone up to the sites after all the rain, just to see the effect of all the rain and?
Hoping some of that stuff washed down.
I hope the God Greenville flat the next time I go.
All that bedrock got washed
I'll be
out.
there.
I don't think that's what I was doing anyway.
I think that might be.
Yeah, I think so. It's been there a long time. All right, so anything else as far as you're, we're good? DRA? Oh, no, now you're gonna run. Let's get this set up. Hands are freaking shaking today. Getting old.
I knew it wasn't me that jammed the door open.
I was wondering, I'm thinking I could feel the draft. I thought it was somebody left the down door open. That's what I thought.
Yeah, the closer goes over center.
Yeah, okay, and it locks open.
There you go.
All right,
Okay.
so let's see.
Yeah, we'll take you through, we have a lot of slides here, but we don't need to spend that much time on them. As Mike said, we met with police, DPW, started discussing Boswell. We haven't seen any data back yet from the PD. They offered to get speed and vehicle counts to see if we can get some kind of threshold to see what we can do getting out to that side. And then we just talked about the additional survey work, so we just go through these now in Greenville. Jump to the next slide. So we're working.
Hang on, let me, I gotta share this. Hang on, give me a second. Did the same thing.
So you'll see as we go through SD, constantly working, trying to get within 5% of the target size are 80,000 square feet. So you see now at Greenville and Stanton, we're running similar programs for these, and we're down below 80,000, which is actually beneficial to us at this point because the sites vary, and Greenville may take some more vertical circulation, which is going to build up more space. So trying to build these up together so that the spaces stay the same within both buildings. Buildings reflect the sites in the neighborhoods as we go. Next one. So we'll just keep talking about the buildable areas at Greenville, the three plateaus that go up from Golden to Boswell at the top, sort of go right up through the center. And none of them are big enough to do everything that you need to do. And there's about nominally 30 feet of elevation separation between them, which doesn't correspond to typical floor-to-floor heights in building design. So you're either looking to raise or lower the ground, or build the building taller between floors, a taller bottom floor or taller middle floor to reach from side to side. And the little blue area there is a designated wetland, which is comes into play. We also have the gas transmission line that we're still working with. Next one more. So we've been heading towards this a layout, workable layout with coming off of Golden with a bus loop to the right, special education drop-off area, and then a parent pickup and drop-off over to the left side. You probably recall at one point we had bus loop over to the left. That is actually easier as a parent pickup drop-off because they can use a steeper grade than the buses can. So we were looking at a whole bunch of cut and fill kit that's worked with buses, and for private vehicles, it's a little bit simpler to work with. And then up above, a separate entrance and parking up top for private vehicles only features, and servicing or accessing through there. Evenings, when you look at the floor plan, next slide. We start on the ground level, bus drop off from the right, visitor and parent drop off from the left, going right into admin. Bus drop off would be closed during the day so that all the admin would come in through the all the visitors would come through the administrative lane and be greeted there. Grade 1K, pre-K all on the ground floor. That helps us work with Connecticut's code for those guys being on the ground floor with direct grade access or egress. And then gross motor skills, OT, PT, resources, and the learning commons in and around the center of the core of the building. Next slide is the next floor up. And on this is in grades 2 and 3, with band, music, art, and conference rooms, OTPT for those grades, and one more floor up. Gets you to.
Yep. Oh, one more. Okay, I was right there.
One more floor up, grades 5
Yeah.
and 6, 4 and 5, sorry, and the gymnasium. And this is now getting us to that uppermost level on the grade. So for this case, the little guys can go upstairs and use the gymnasium because it's grade level discharge. So that becomes an issue or less concern for us. We can program to be in the gymnasium for those guys because they can get out at grade and don't have to come back to the building to do so. Next one. And so in progress now, our next step internally is we start with structural grids and looking at how that might come together and try to simplify construction as much as possible, starting with the structure and make adjustments to the building overall, see if we can build it for less money. Next one. And then site grading is going to be a big driver here. So we're looking at that 30 some odd foot drop between the upper and lower levels, and the two ways of doing it was what we call 3 steps. And these are essentially going to be 3 retaining wall cuts and fills. If you look at it from a section cut through it, you see we're trying to pick up about it. And so if we step it in 3 steps, we're building slightly smaller retaining walls. And since we're anticipating we're blasting into ledge, that might be the cheaper way to do it. I think we do it 2 steps. This is just the other side of the building. And then next one should be 2 steps. The 2 steps are spaced out equally on either side of that connecting corridor. The 3 steps are much tighter on the east side of the building.
Have you done core testing on it?
What's that?
Have we done core testing on it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Right.
Alright.
Now that we know where the building was probably gonna be.
Okay.
And so here you're seeing slightly taller cuts and in about the same distance, 20 feet horizontal. And that lets us get a little bit more ground floor level. And that's what we want to really see, how close we come to balancing this. And this is really
How much volume are we looking at here excavated?
I don't know if we have those numbers yet. That's the piece that we were talking
Okay,
about.
all right.
So the team
Let's
was
not,
really
yeah, let's
well
not guess, and you're gonna give me agita as it is, so I'll wait, I can wait for it.
Next one. And it's just the other side of the steps. Just give this one ground floor to work, but
If that bill can be in the front.
Maybe, if it's the right stuff.
yeah, it's right stuff, but generally you'd end up crushing on site.
Yeah.
Using a structural.
Hopefully.
Okay, I think that should going. Massing.
Ooh, I like that look.
Starting to look, and the funny thing is the buildings go with the topo, and the level areas don't set out. The building follows what it would be in the real world. This doesn't have cuts on it yet, so the building is on the heading up to the north is actually brown on this drawing, and it wouldn't be in the real world. So I don't know why this isn't there. It's an unfinished drawing, but it starts to show you how it would fit on the site when it comes together. Next one. So this actually tells us a little bit better what we're doing, key challenges, and this is actually a little bit of a development sketch starting to show along the west property line, the lawn and rectangular play area, 130 feet by 100 feet. It's a good elementary school size playground, grass area, paved play area, and with basketball court and a structured play or non-structured flat area, and playground. It's not to a classroom on top of that. It should be a playground shown in there, but I'm not seeing it.
All right.
Where's the playground end up?
Huh?
I think this is old.
Yeah, this is before we got the playground in. We have the pre-K, which we need to understand. Pre-K playgrounds mean ages 2 to 5. And any playground above that is 5 to 12. So we'll try to get the nomenclature right so that when we start to talk about playgrounds, no one gets confused. This is
Up to the.
yeah, this is one generational. It's bunch of jump overs from Marcus. Everything that's on that got developed further in the earlier slide. So Stanton is coming along. We've got this buildable area circled by the red there, and knowing that we can't get the school offline, you see we're struggling between the wetland area and the greenest possible building zones. Going way out to the right gets us back into 1 crossing a wetland, 2 going uphill again, and then coming down towards the front where the existing building is now is in a designated flood zone, even though it's pipe that still shows up the flood zone, and we have the existing building. So this one we're starting to develop down to the south end and keeping the existing building
functioning, we get pretty close to one corner of it. And you see that bus drop off, the bus loop is lower left. And parent loop is top center, and the building down at the bottom there. Playgrounds are out. If you know where the parking lot is now, that's the 5 to 12 play area, basketball court, lawn, and then the tennis courts all stay out into the front. So this is a bit remote from the school for those playgrounds, probably 200 feet or so. Problem is getting them to the other side of the school, it's no wetlands. And anytime we get above 5,000 square feet of playground, like the wetlands, we go into a different regulatory requirement. So we're working with how we.
What's that entail?
If we go above that 5,000, it might go a federal permit.
Yeah.
So we're touching it a little bit, and this is part of the survey work that we're getting done out there. Is to hope really establish the very ends of the wetlands. Our wetland soil scientists did them already. Now the surveyor has to pick up the flags.
And then anything fill in, you have to replicate,
Right.
give back.
Next one, look. This is just colored in because it's a little bit easier to understand. 2 to 5 play area right up next to the building. And 5 to 12 further out. That hard surface area with the green in it is not a drivable surface. It's a hard surface. It just doesn't give us enough area to put a playground. Can't move the building east, and we can't narrow down the bus lane. So we're continuing to work with this one with school administration. See what we can do. That designation of wetlands and floodplain where the stream goes under the parking lot is really drag and build on it. So the parking lot, playground is that, but can't get a building on it. Next item is floor plans. So we've got, in this case, grade 1, 2, pre-K on the bottom floor with admin right up front. So find it, see it, grades kept to and down to the west. And it opens up onto that hard surface area. And next one will go up 1 floor, and this is just a center spine. And grades 3, 4, and 5 on the second floor of the next one up. And once again, structural grid, this actually lays out pretty nice and simple. The major structural grid, that's the Greenville. Not that bad a plan. Next one. Yeah, we see now we're looking at it from northwest. And from the entry over on the turnpike. See how the building slots into there. And play areas and dumpster recycling and covered loading dock services down along that southwest corner, which is the very edge of the
Topography challenge there.
a little bit simpler than Greenville.
Major problem is fitting in the new school with the.
Right, I mean,
Without-
if you're building feet from the other school.
Yeah, the distance isn't much. The logistical challenge with this is how do you park? If we don't get timing perfect, that the school comes down and the parking is built over a summer, it'll be really tough to park on this site.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I believe it.
Their dash line.
How many parking spaces they got there?
Do we have it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the red line on the drawing is the outline of
Did
the
they-
only building. And to
No,
the,
no, that's it, yeah. It's not too many,
Oh, you got 90 parking spots.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, they could probably make an arrangement with
Right,
Jacobs.
but likely
the
the parking lot, the only opportunity to try and get the parking lot would be the summer after the building is built.
Mm.
There'll have to be logistics plans set up. It's not gonna be a over the summer turnover more than likely, just based on the amount of work that you guys will have ahead of you for the summer. Yeah.
I mean, we just, I
It
mean,
just-
it
it
could
could
be,
be-
we might be able to use the lot at the synagogue during the week or something like that, the possibility there, you know, so.
think there's opportunities here. Stacy and I talked earlier,
Yeah.
the meetings about the potential for the synagogue parking lot and just a walkway. Actually, we're looking for input.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, our problem with this is that you can't just go in and knock the building over, although one good push will fall over, but it has to be abated. So that's its problem.
How much abatement does it need? I mean, it's had some
You could
work
actually
done.
bring the abatement down on a real lot if you drove the disposal cost up.
Oh, God. Yeah, no, I know, yeah, like treat, yeah, but you gotta treat it like it's freaking contaminated.
And
Yeah, I know how that works.
Once you get into this and really analyze it.
Like universal precautions with hazmat.
It may just be a wash at the end of the day for time versus money.
Yeah.
It's, that we haven't gotten to that analysis yet.
Like, what's the program space behind the, you know, if you stuff that driveway down temporarily and then you can back.
You're into the wetland.
Even on the, where you show.
All sides of it, you're into the wetlands.
Even where you show the parking in the back.
Yeah, if you show the earlier slide, the
You're-
wetlands are right
there's
on
not
the
enough-
side of it.
There's not enough room between the corner of the building and the property line to get the road by, and even if you were able to get the road by, then you're in the wetlands.
I mean, you wouldn't know it from seeing the property because it's not, it doesn't look like it, but
Well, you
it's
figure
there.
that steep hill there
It's underneath.
on the right, and then it goes to the left, and then anything to the left and back of that building is wetlands.
I was on the phone with Jim today, Greg, I don't know if you talked to.
I mean, the other way, left to right.
He's looking at, we're looking at trying to get someone with an excavator out there to start popping some test pits. Potentially before the drilling starts, just to really identify what that material is in the back that's classified as wetland, because it was probably filled in very, very long ago, and
Okay, let's talk, because it's gonna be. You've had a wetland scientist out there who marked the edges of the wetland.
oh, I'm just repeating what
No, I
Jim
know,
talked to me about.
And I'm just saying out
Yeah.
loud, because now you'd have to take those flags, your next step is to do soil analysis, so that's what we're trying to do. Do the soil analysis, if the soil comes back as being non-wetland soils, that wetland does not show up on the town's GIS. That's why it caught us by surprise when the soil scientist marked it. So the good thing to do would be whether we get DPW or someone with a
Excavator.
excavator of some sort, just that it doesn't have to be deep, just need to get some holes in there.
How deep you need? How deep you need?
If good enough to see. Backhoe does it.
Oh, question, Mark? Oh, Greg.
Susan Assad wants to say something.
Oh. Susan, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, we were talking about parking. We have a really good relationship with the synagogue, and during any special events, always park over there so the parents can park. So the parking should be not a problem at all.
Yeah, we were just actually talking about it. I don't know, out of earshot or not, but Stacy's here. She obviously knows some people, and she's thinking the same thing, so.
Right, and that's where we go in case there's ever an emergency and we have to leave Stanton. We have a key to the synagogue, so we know we know the president, and so we have a good relationship, so we really appreciate with that, so we're good with parking.
Good. All right,
I mean, if they.
grade one.
Go look at the wetlands now, I mean, it's the boggiest it's ever gonna be.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's not that would make that much of a difference to us. It's, if you're looking at it for soils, it's soil, whether it's dry or wet, it'll come up with soil. Do a bunch of talking pre-KK classrooms, cubbies inside the classrooms, and how that would work with a handicap accessible bathroom with a changing table in it. 975 square feet, that's typical layout for 20 kids. So that seems to be acceptable to everybody as a starting point. Next slide. Grades 1 through 5, and here are lockers out in the hallway. and wardrobes inside, and these classrooms are now up to 24 kids in 100 square feet. And so this is starting to get us the next step in the discussion of lockers for all the grades 1 through 5 or not, and how the furniture may work, because furniture right now is placeholders. So our discussion is further important.
We decided last week that we're only gonna have lockers for grades 2 through 5.
Next.
This was the study, cubbies inside versus lockers outside. This is what we're just talking about. The left-hand one gives you cubbies on the inside with cabinet storage of products for the teachers. And that preserves the most square footage, the most area for the kids inside. And next one more. Media center, we're just starting with this now. This becomes a point of discussion. Stanton's entire library is about 1,100, just about 1,200 square feet. So if you know Stanton, if you double it, you're just about at the size of talking about libraries being. And so this is giving you a lot more space, and generally trying to get it towards the center of the school, so it can support all the kids and everything that happens in the school. But it's it might be a bit of a surprise at how big libraries are now compared to what they were in Baby Boom era. We're working with
Smaller or bigger?
Bigger.
Bigger, yeah.
Double.
Really?
working with Susan's group on a volume count, so we get a target, and then a lot of schools are doing now is putting all the books on mobile shelving, so we can move all to the side and use the building using it a different way. So this is an ongoing piece as we move along. Next one.
Tracks.
This is just a layout. It's a sample from the project that we just took this through construction. You see the lower left right behind the photo of everybody, or the image of everybody. There's a
I can move it.
working young readers area, and then outside of that area rug, you can sit on the ground and read, and then study tables, and then the shelving in this building, the shelving I think is fixed, and seating areas for independent learning and collaboration. The video presentation room. There's a desire to retain the layout of the libraries that we're doing. So this library is, I think, just about 2,400 square feet, about the same size. Now, this is trying to get a discussion going on materials. And so this is just some sampling of materials from various buildings, and the idea here is to just give you an idea. This is a mix of brick. There's metal panel up top near the brakes and the eaves, and then it's cement fiber on a clapboard. You know, it's not much glass on this. This is an elementary school. Next one's going to ask you what your opinion is. I don't think we really need to get too far into that right now. But if you want to think about all the things that we're going to go through tonight, and we'll talk about it at the next meeting, of what is there any of these materials, not the look of the building, that's where this gets to be difficult, but the materials and how they're combined and what they do for you. Next one, Mark. This is it's in the beer movie. This is all brick.
Kind of plain.
Panels,
But the bricks are not bad.
we did this one because it's 3 floors. I did the massing. Greenville's going to be set back. The only place you really see 3 floors is from the east and west elevation. Next one. Entryway into another elementary school. And this is
Kind of interesting.
ground face block, which is a bit cheaper than brick.
I kind of like that.
Well, and then the metal panel up high, steel entryway structure there. That's probably, I'm gonna say it now, I don't think I'll have to take it back, that's probably the cheapest. I would say most cost effective.
I know, I might tell you, I kind of like the look personally, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's what, metal roof too?
That one I think is a metal roof. over
There's
the top.
panels on
I
it,
think that's
solar
all-
panels on it.
Yeah, solar panels over a metal roof, but I think we did metal roof and solar panels came later. Next one. Look.
Ooh,
This
that's
is
neat.
down in Bristol. This is once again large, block. These are actually,
Yeah,
panels of brick.
not
Hard
in
to
love.
say.
It's interesting.
It looks more like.
I don't know.
It's more
Not
like
in love with it.
Corporate park than, could be that.
I mean, are there, besides whether it's cost effective or not, I mean, are there, you know, benefits in like, say, R value or something like that for some of these
Now,
things?
all your walls are going to have to hit a certain R value.
Yeah,
And the block isn't, it will get you there just as easy. The insulated panels will get you there probably a little bit faster, but faster is really just the thickness of the wall
Right.
when you're done.
How about durability and maintenance?
The block, this building, brick and block are about the most durable things you can build with. Try to keep the metal panel if you use it up high. Keep it down low, it has tendency to dent it.
yeah,
It's
makes
very
sense.
dent resistant, but put it down low, a stone throw by a kid or by a mower will put a dent in it. So typically try to get it up high. One thing to notice on this building is that the piece that's off to the left side, those panels there, if they're masonry, are a two-person masonry unit in place. The biggest unit you can place is a block. And then above that, you have two people handling each piece of material.
So a little bit more in construction costs than probably
Yeah, it actually shifts it from the material cost and labor
labor
side,
costs, yeah.
because since you're putting up bigger pieces, the wall builds faster.
Yeah.
You get two people building it,
Yeah,
so.
right.
And, things like mildew resistance, so you don't want stuff growing on the stuff that you gotta power wash every year.
Yeah, I think you'll be fine with that. The block doesn't tend to grow much of anything, and the joints and whatnot, if they're struck properly, it should be fine. Next one, Mark.
Oh, that's interesting.
This is right down in Stonington. You can go see this building. They did this in Dean's Mill.
Not sure I like the green, but that's me.
Yeah, so it's metal panel, the stone is cast,
I-
it's a cast block.
Yeah, I kind of
and
like
it's
that.
brick.
Mm,
Yeah, brick to the left of it.
Right.
So is that just a
Not really
precast,
into the
like
brick.
a thin application?
No, it's actually a full-size block.
That's a full-size
Yeah,
block.
so it went up as cast pieces. If you look really hard, you can find running seams in it, but it'll defy you to find it in there.
You can-
But those buildings, if you want to go see them, there's two of them. It's just slightly different in the footprint, and they're right down the street. Next one,
Not far from my shop.
and this is pretty close to the same materials, just heavier on the metal panel and less on the brick. And this is a jumbo brick. The piece over to the right is a larger brick.
I mean, I do like the idea personally of having materials that you can add color to.
Mhm.
You can have color in them and whatever, for an elementary school anyway, you know? But,
color in middle school too.
well, I was thinking by middle school,
I know
I'm,
it's so far
Greg,
off.
by middle school, I'm thinking more like prison, you know, concertina wire.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So,
Cell block.
and then a
red,
recorded meeting. Here we go, folks.
Cell block red,
That'd be
the
our-
execution wing.
Probably be
Only
your
kidding,
advantage if you
only
just moved on to
kidding.
the next
Yeah,
slide.
okay.
Just saying.
And I like the color.
No, I do. I like
Oh,
I
no.
like the
I also-
pop.
This is very stately. The middle.
It is stately. It is stately.
Yes.
I mean, brick is really the most expensive, isn't it? Or right near there?
It bounces back and forth.
Pretty
depending
close,
on
right?
Which brick you pick and
Yeah.
how the wall goes together.
Oh, I see.
It just,
Virginia courthouse.
yeah, this is one that you either love it or you don't.
What is it? The new stuff they did with the poured ICF is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, with the robots?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's concrete.
concrete.
Slurry,
It's yeah. I don't know. I just
Big 3D printer.
Yeah, right.
3D Printing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, whatever. Go on about it. That's what I know.
Next one.
Oh,
And this is wood panel.
there's some blocks there. This There's some nice panels there.
Yeah.
I like the gray ones on the top left and the right, in the middle there and up top.
You get a lot of color flexibility with it.
Yeah.
Panels are a good way to introduce a swap of color. Yeah, it is.
That it?
Yep.
All right, good. Well, it's a place to start thinking anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and we will need to be thinking about it at the January meeting,
Oh, really?
because you need to be giving some direction to the Downs group and our cost estimators as to what materials might be.
Okay.
And worst comes to worst, it'll be here's the shape of the building, here's one end of the material range, here's the other end of the material range.
Okay.
Because we'll know the amount of wall by that time.
All right, good enough. Downs.
Thanks, Mark. We don't really have too much. to
I
report.
didn't think you would, so but I think I'd throw you on the agenda anyway, you know.
No, I appreciate it. We've been participating in.
I did want to ask if the contract been settled? Not yet.
It's with our insurance agent right now.
Okay. All right. That,
Agent and company, they're just reviewing it for subrogation stuff.
okay.
You know, they want to see, so hopefully we'll have it.
Let us know if you have any
All right.
questions pop up. Yeah, we'll turn it around.
Alright.
Yeah, we're gearing up for the SD estimate and the end of January. We're excited to solve the logistics solution at Stanton.
Yeah.
And come up with your quantity of excavation for the other project, so.
Yeah, it'll
We're
be-
gearing up to jump in with the estimating process. If you need any support.
Well,
with some forensics,
in Greenville, I'm, not only am I concerned about obviously the amount of excavation, but the quality of excavation that, hopefully that we can, use the product,
Yeah, just reuse it on site, crush it, and, but we'll look at those options.
Yep.
See what the cost analysis, benefit for that is. If you need any, assistance with some of the forensics, for biggest and test pits, we're here to support that effort too, so just let us know, we can coordinate that, pretty much if the job of that happens.
Good enough, thank you. Just, so you know, once, we get everything settled and stuff, and when, it's time to start, submitting invoices, we'll, usually what we do, a week before the meeting, try to have them in, so when I complete the agenda, I'll have them on the agenda, and, that seems to have been working pretty good. And then, once after the meeting, I just forward them to Mike and Josh, and, hopefully you get paid.
Just as a matter of clarification, Mark, if you can just.
Send them to you too?
Yeah, just so that I
right.
can review them just for everything.
Right,
Um,
right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so just,
and I work
you know.
right in the finance office. so
Right, that's
getting them
right.
paid is that big of a challenge.
Yeah, no. Well, we actually do pay our bills
Yeah.
in this town, so. So Josh is pretty good. They got an award-winning department there, actually. So, all right, so with that done, invoices, CSG, Greenville, number 9, 10,000, I better put my glasses back on, $10,680.02, same as last month. Motion to, authorize payment. Somebody. Stacy. Second by, we'll let Cindy do it. Cindy Beauregard gets a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Joe DeLucia,
Yes,
Bill Hull,
Yes.
Peter Gauthier.
Yes.
I think that's it online. Sheila,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
who was, Stacy. Oh, Cindy. Stacy.
Yes.
Greg.
Yes.
Mark Betancourt is yes, 9-0. Stand number 9, $10,555.46
Motion to approve.
by Mark Kulos,
Second by Stacy.
second by Stacy Gould. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll start in the room. Sheila,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
myself as a yes. Joe DeLucia,
yes,
Peter Gauthier,
Yes.
and Bill Hull.
Yes.
9-0.
Mark,
But-
if I can, I'm just gonna step out.
Yeah, you're done?
I got a house with no heat in it.
Oh, yeah, no, hit the road, bro. You're good.
Everybody have a nice
Thank you.
holiday.
Good to see you.
All right, we can skip DRA's invoices then. No.
I wasn't even aware that they submitted any. I sent the memo to Jim and then never saw anything. I guess they submitted.
Oh, yeah, they did. I'll CC you when I send them everything to
Or-
Josh
Or
anyway.
they can just send them direct.
Okay. Greenville number 2 for DRA, $87,967.50. Motion to approve the payment.
Make a motion to approve. Mark Kulis.
Thank you. Second,
I'll second it, Stacy Gould.
thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Joe DeLucia,
Yes.
Peter Gauthier,
Yes.
Bill Hull.
yes,
I'll start with me. Yes. Mark Betancourt, Sheila Hayes,
Yes.
Mark Kulos,
Yes.
Cindy Beauregard,
Yes.
Stacy Gould,
Yes.
Greg Blassie.
Yes.
9-0. Stand number 2, $96,525.32. Motion to approve, please, for payment.
Mark Kulis, motion to approve.
Stacy Gould, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, Joe DeLucia,
Yes.
Peter Gauthier,
Yes.
Bill Hull,
yes,
Sheila Hayes.
Yes.
Mark Kulos.
Yes.
Cindy Beauregard. Stacy Gould.
Yes.
Greg Blassie.
Yes.
Mark Betancourt, yes, 9-0. All right. Anything else to be brought before the committee? I think we got it covered. I don't know of anything. All right. We're good.
Next meeting?
Next meeting will be our regularly scheduled meeting. But that's gonna be, yeah, it's moved. No, but it's, excuse me, that one's moved. January's meeting is moved. It's a week later.
January 23rd.
Right. So just so we're clear. Right, January 23rd will be the meeting and that'll be in 335 next door at City Hall.
We
Unless they continue the hearing, they need it, but they're actually, since, yeah, so they'll be, it should be all set.
we may need a special meeting before and after to approve documentation for the schematic design review at the end of January. So,
It won't be ready for the 23rd. Be close.
Are you
I
gonna
mean,
need
it all depends on how fast the drawings become available because we're gonna need to give.
All right, well, regardless, if we do, if it's a limited, yeah. If it's a limited agenda, we'll do it just on Zoom.
Are you gonna need BOE approval too, or not?
There will be some BOE approval stuff, but it'll be, no, superintendent will need to sign a couple documents, but that's about it.
For the SDI?
Yeah, I think there's one or two.
Oh.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second
Sorry, Mark.
by Sheila Hayes for the second. Peter Gauthier,
Yes.
Bill Hull,
yes.
Joe DeLucia,
Yes.
Sheila Hayes.
Yes.
Mark Kulos.
Yeah.
Cindy Beauregard, Stacy Gould,
Yes.
Greg Blassie,
Yes.
and myself, yes, 9-0. We stand adjourned at 8:28 PM. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful holiday. Stay safe.
I've seen that.
Take
speech a
care.
million times.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.